Welcome to the Harvest Report for the 31st of October 2014. Despite rain across the state, receivals to date are the highest on record, with 1,544,789 tonnes received due to the early start this harvest. This is in contrast to less than 800,000 tonnes received by the same time last year. Continued weather patterns have resulted in a stop-start harvest so far. Some sites in Geraldton Zone have been open for more than 5 weeks, but with very few consecutive good days harvesting. The CBH General Manager of Operations, David Capper, says despite the inclement weather, the early break to the season will lead to an early finish in many areas. Yields in Geraldton and Kwinana Zone have not been as strong as hoped to date, but that is improving as growers move further into their harvest program. The totals across the zones in Geraldton Zone, 632,863 tonnes have been received. In Esperance Zone, 146,865 tonnes are received. In Kwinana Zone, 748,286 tonnes have been received. And in Albany Zone, 22,617 tonnes have been received so far. To the Geraldton Zone, and the zone is slowly progressing through the harvest program with approximately 600,000 tonnes delivered to date. Most of the receivals to date have been canola and wheat, with some smaller tonnages of lupins and barley. Geraldton Zone Manager Duncan Gray says it's been a stop-start harvest so far, with fairly minimal harvesting time each day, bringing some quality challenges for growers. The wet start has meant we've had some high screenings and falling numbers with wheat, and we're hoping we'll start to see a summer pattern come through soon that will give growers the opportunity to harvest for much longer each day and to get the tonnes safely in the bin. In the Kwinana Zone, the early start to harvest this year means that Kwinana Zone is much further advanced with its harvest program when compared to the previous season. There will be approximately 850,000 tonnes in the bin at the end of October, which is about 700,000 ahead of the same time last year. Kwinana Zone Manager Gavin Bignell says unlike the traditional pattern of the majority of canola being delivered before growers moving on to cereals, this year we're seeing a mix of canola, barley and wheat being delivered. At this stage we've received almost equal amounts of barley, canola and wheat. Quality and yields to date have been mixed. Despite the early start, daily totals are average, and many growers in some areas of the zone have been frustrated with cooler weather and rain slowing progress. To the Albany Zone, and harvest commenced in Albany Zone this week but was hampered by between 25 and 155 millilitres of rain across the zone and some isolated hailstorms. While the overall yield loss from these two events will be a relatively small percentage of expected receivals, they had devastating results for individual growers. Any potential quality issues will not be known until we get further into harvest. CBH Albany Zone Manager Greg Thornton said early indications of quality are good, with oil up to 51.5% being received in canola. Work has commenced on emergency storages at Wagen, and we hope to get approvals for work at Broome Hills soon. To the Esperance Zone, and we've received close to 100,000 tonnes for the week, and while some growers got underway, rain on Friday slowed things up. Esperance Zone Manager Mick Dawes said Chadwick site, which received upgrades recently, is now fully operational and working very well with the new sample weigh platforms. This week, sampling and receiving trucks reached 40 trucks an hour, which is a great result. Most growers are just waiting for some good weather so they can get harvesting cereals, which will hopefully happen over the weekend. To the market and an update from General Manager of Marketing and Trading Jason Craig. The international market has remained relatively subdued as most customers are covered for their harvest requirements. However, this is not reflected in the local market, where the trade have been aggressive, accumulating from growers paying in excess of export parity to ensure coverage of early harvest shipping slots. Crop quality in Western Australia appears to be in line with expectations, with no widespread quality issues at this stage, despite the large rain events over the past couple of weeks. Due to the softer finish, wheat proteins are expected to be just slightly lower than average, which has seen increased interest in the accumulation of higher protein wheat.